we've got to ask ourselves, who are we really building for? Nice technological projects, or for true impact and business? And I would equate it a little bit like this. Just because you have great insight like GPS in a car, doesn't mean that it will safely get you from A to B. Doesn't mean that you can realize value. In particular, what the survey says is that the AI models of today will continue to evolve at exponential pace. No doubt about that. Just go and have a look at the show floor. But the future belongs to those in particular value realization that can integrate the models and put them in the context of business, connect them to the business data, the transactions, the customers, as well as directly integrate into the business processes at scale for end-to-end value delivery. Only this way can we reduce hallucination and increase business impact. So the equation is quite simple. AI value is not only insight, but it also requires action and context. In particular, by putting these things together, that is how we can realize the vision of the autonomous enterprise, or the self-driving car, so to speak, where we can slowly get the hands off the steering wheel by connecting the intelligence with the sensors of the car to understand what's ahead of us, the road conditions, as well as connecting them to the speeder, the accelerator, the brakes, and the steering wheel. And that is what we do in SAP. We work hard at connecting all the leading frontier models, scale-up and open source models, into an AI operating system for businesses that will allow partners, scale-ups, to build applications and tap into the ecosystem, powering more than 80% of all the world's businesses to truly deliver business value. But the real question is this: who will orchestrate traffic in an autonomous world? Who will orchestrate the agentic enterprise? As you're building solutions, as you're using them, how are you thinking about the mid to long term? How are you thinking about integration? How are you thinking about connecting to the corporate memory of the business? How are you thinking about orchestrating for value? That's what I will talk about and move and get to that end. We will uncover a little bit about what it's taken to truly be successful on this enterprise journey of AI adoption. What our customers and what you can see today in embedding AI in business, what we call business AI, and in particular, what the introduction of Autosapiens or AI agents into the workforce will do to transform organizational models, and how, as we heard from this great panel, by introducing the 3 laws of agentic AI agents, we will make it a reality. So let's dive in quickly. I believe that every single company, and those who've seen me before will know this, have to just get 3 things in alignment to truly deliver value with AI at scale. And that is that the processes that uncover and drive value at scale in enterprises and the data they deliver has to be brought in alignment with the AI. To use the data for business processes to ground and onboard, just like a great HR department, your AI models, and in particular your AI agents, and then of course introduce them and integrate them into the business processes so that they can run faster, better, and more productively, generating even more data. And the important part, of course, is to get the trust of users by bringing together a strong foundation of data collected across the enterprise or the company, whether it's from SAP or anywhere else, and making sure this can be used to provide contextual intelligence. So when you get an answer from the AI, it's not a very beautiful, nice answer as you would get from a generic model, but it's specific to your task at hand, to your role at hand, if you're working in supply chain or HR. And of course that it's integrated into processes at scale. What we work hard on doing is taking, as I mentioned, all of the backbone of running around 80% of the world's processes, and then pushing all that data into the cloud. What we've built in SAP is a knowledge graph of all things business. A treasure map of all the data elements that you can use to ground your AI models on top of this to reduce the hallucination. And then, of course, not only building AI use cases out of the box and functions and features, but also providing an operating system for our partners and scale-ups to build specific business solution and integrate it directly into the processes at scale. And most importantly, at the heart of it is trust. I'm pleased to say that SAP is the first company in the world to attain the ISO 42001 standard for end-to-end sustainable and responsible AI development and deployment, because trust matters. We're at an arms race in this world, and AI is a particularly important technology because it's culture bearing. And I believe that we as Europeans must make sure that we have trust at the heart of what we do. Because only this way can we get our users to truly embrace the technological revolution in a positive light. Not to make it a technical part, but of course many other things along the way have been happening. And many people ask me, hey Jesper, a lot of things are happening in this AI space. What am I seeing from SAP? Why are you a little bit behind all the time? Well, because trust takes time. Building for the long term, building in the right way, building for a future that's scalable takes time to get it right. But that is what will allow us to scale exponentially over time. In particular, solving for things like making sure that we can be robust as the models change over time is important. So embedding things like prompt optimization are really from the things that matters at scale. Because a lot of our customers, that is the businesses at scale, they don't want to change AI models. In particular, what they don't want to do is change the integrations over time. Every time a new frontier model emerges on top. And that's why these things really matter. Another one is, of course, we're slowly seeing the first chapters of physical AI being written. Through our partnership with Humanoid and Neuron and NVIDIA, we're already making this a reality. Connecting the business processes and great AI applications directly with the physical shop floor and picking these elements as well. And lastly, decision making. One of the things we don't talk enough about is the influence on decision making of AI. It's not just that we take the AI's answer, it is really that we are able to no longer have to wait reactively to analyze, decide, and act, but we can reason. We can reason and reflect and think about things that might happen, and then we can take action proactively before they ever happen. I think this is the single most important transformation for businesses and business value realization we're looking into. So through our partnership with Complexity, we're integrating this into the business decision making in our Joule agentic AI from day one. So, as we move forward, what will it look like? What will it unfold? How will it feel to be a leader, to be an operator inside such an agentic enterprise? Well, for many, if you, for instance, work with SAP, you will probably see a new interface, making AI the new UI. Whether it's through a partnership with Microsoft, the Microsoft Copilot, or directly in SAP's Joule, you can now talk to your SAP or any application underneath, and it will understand who you are, what you have the rights to do and not to do, and it will be grounded in your business context. Leveraging right now close to 2,000 skills to get everything done, from opening purchase orders to updating bank details in the language that you speak. But much more important than that, we're beginning to get a lot closer to business processes, harmonizing the intelligence layer with the process layer to become one. And we do this through use cases embedded in where work gets done, business applications. Today, more than 300 are capable and ready for consumption, and we're scaling at an exponential pace. Every 6 months, as you know, is where we double the pace in the AI world, and we're pretty much doing the same. So you can expect 400 cases by the end of the year, and probably 800 by next summer. So let's take a look at what it means to work in such a space. Here's from our document AI. And from this part, you see Joule, first. Joule is our agentic co-pilot that runs across all our cloud applications. Joule makes AI new UI, understands who you are, you can ask it questions, or you can even go into hiring people, for instance, here. Notice how it's generating the UI on the fly, creating the action buttons, particular to this hiring. Right now, those who's in my team, and I just adjust my team details, and I can quickly set up a new position and kick off a workflow in our HR module. And Joule works across all of our applications. It could also be specifically in some of our functional elements like our procurement part. This is from Ariba. What I'm doing here is essentially putting in a large Excel sheet. I want to create a procurement event for mobile phones. It's automatically creating all the categories. It's automatically creating the text for the RFQ and even suggesting me relevant vendors for this procurement event. It's just buttons that appear as they should. My user doesn't even care, it's AI, but automatically helps them move the needle. Or it could be in analytics. AI for analytics are really set to change the game for most people. No longer having to find reports, I can just ask Joule in our analytical scenario, what are the open outstanding payments and how do they look. I get a quick answer, maybe that's enough, or maybe I want to put that graph and put it in our business data cloud for immediate future consumption. And of course, all of this works because we have trust. Trust is the vector of AI, in particular when we talk about business AI adoption. Answering for the more complex questions require that we understand the context of the business we're in. So let's say I need to resolve a dispute. Resolving a dispute means I need to understand what a dispute is, what orders are, what open communications have been, and what really has been delivered. And to make sure we're not just getting a beautiful answer leveraging a generic AI tool, but a wrong one, to get a specifically right answer, we got to connect it to the data. And this is where the knowledge graph plays a hugely important role. The knowledge graph is the secret sauce that we've developed that maps out all the data. That's, by the way, 7.3 million data objects and more than 450,000 tables in the SAP universe. That tells you how things like orders, customers are all related. And we use this for grounding in our technology, together with our business data cloud, so that the AI model can decipher and reduce hallucination to close to zero in a RAG-like architecture, as well as increase the reuse, which is really important over time, because as you know, nothing's free in this world, and we don't want to be too generous with our tokens. So that was the immediate opening stages. As you know, and as was talked about on this stage, we're evolving our organizations. From humans working with tools and typewriters to humans working with computers and mobile phones, from Homo sapiens to Homo connexus, we're about to say welcome to your new colleague, the Autosapiens. Autosapiens are colleagues that have this agentic-like behavior. You can give them a higher level task and they will go on their own, and yet they are adaptable. Very big difference to the RPA tools of the past that merely automate existing workflows. They can adapt on the fly. And yet they have this human, amicable, archaic-like feeling, almost a bit eerie that you can befriend them. So as we introduce these into our workforce, we need some levels of control. We need to be able to scale in a responsible way. So inspired by Isaac Asimov's 3 laws of robotics, I believe we need these 3 similar laws for AI agents that was also popularized by researchers. And the first law is pretty simple. We need to make sure when we introduce these, we must endure. Self-evolved agents cannot break anything. They cannot break, they have to make sure that if they introduced it to a process or into an enterprise, they must not break anything. Safety must come first, and it must engulf all other laws and other principles. Secondly, we must make sure that they excel. We cannot introduce new complexity unless there's a business benefit. They must improve the business process or the domain that they're working within. And lastly, we must make sure that they evolve. The whole point is that they not only excel and improve, but they continuously, by their mere use, improve the business process and make it better and more intelligent. And so we use these 3 lighthouses in our development and how we introduce this technology to the world. Because our vision in SAP is pretty simple. We want to deliver a world-class level of automation and intelligent enterprises. And we'll do it in those 3 steps. Firstly, by introducing a set of pre-built agents to the world, where we are in full control of the business process, the grounding, the security, so we can make sure that they do not break anything. And this will hopefully give you, our customers and partners, the confidence of how these can scale. Secondly, of course, we need to democratize the development. And this is where we may be a little bit at odds, because I don't think you should build everything from scratch completely your own way. If we have to think longer term, we have to think there has to be a system. There has to be a right way to do things, and there's a wrong way to do things. Only this way can we ensure the right level of quality. But we'll introduce it in our low-code coding tool so you can extend our agents and build your own agents, leveraging the authorizations, the APIs, the processes, and the data in the SAP ecosystem and beyond. And lastly, we must make sure that we can truly orchestrate for the agentic enterprise. And here, we need to introduce the right tools that can uphold the constitutions of the enterprise, the processes, the languages, the authorizations, and the corporate memory. So we can empower all amazing AI agents that will no doubt be running across our many customers and other enterprises to work together. So what will that look like? Well, let's take the picture from before. As we'll be introducing agents, we can expect that these agents will work like Autosapiens, helping each user working with their different roles. So expect finance agents, supply chain agents that has the access of all the tools and all the use cases and many new things introduced, that they will be able to orchestrate like Lego bricks. Because our Joule, our AI agent, Uber agent will be able to also orchestrate the agentic itself in leveraging these things. And in the second step, these agents will of course talk together. And now we see why agents are truly poised to 3x the value realization that AI can bring to enterprises. Because now we can begin breaking down the silos, we can breaking down the data ownership across domains by orchestrating these. So once my procurement agent has run successfully a procurement event, it can automatically trigger the logistics agent that can book for the transfer, that can trigger the finance agent, that can trigger the tax agent to make sure it's all booked. And this way, we can make sure that the users can go out of the loop and into human level oversight. We can reduce the complexity of the enterprise, flatten hierarchies, transform decision making, and build new services. I think this is a much less stressful life. There's a lot less stress in this organization, right? We can focus our time on what really matters. A good example of this could be from our just released agent. So here you see one of our finance agents running. I have an issue, you can see I have an action in one of my warranties. I'm just asking Joule to help me resolve the issue. It's running an accounting assignment. It's also running a finance detection agent. It gives me, of course, full transparency and access to the reasoning. One of them are missing. It even comes with the suggestion of the correct assignment of this account. And I ask it to do it, yes, because by the way, the human is still in the loop here. Otherwise, we're not financially liable. And now it is done, and the accrual is done in the application. Things are fixed. And leveraging our WalkMe technology, we can take it a step further. With WalkMe, we can allow access and support you all across your enterprise outside SAP. In this case, I'm running a ServiceNow application, could be any web-based application. Notice how Joule is running in the background. Joule notices that what is going on the screen, and one of my suppliers had a bit of a faulty part, actually has an implication. And it nudges me on the shoulder and tells me, hey, actually, this part number is a part number I recognize. And by the way, it looks like you're going to run out and you don't have an alternate supplier. And now I can go in and work with Joule, and I can ask it to help me a little bit. Maybe answer me what caused a failed inspection. Maybe suggest me other vendors. Maybe look into the finances of it. And notice how, again, my hands are slowly getting off the steering wheel and value can be realized. We will deliver more than 40 agents out of the box, most of these before the end of the year. The first ones on the right-hand side we've already delivered for sales ticket management, quote creation, financial management. We're just about to deliver the dispute resolution. You just saw on the accounts receivables, and many, many more all across from the different functions, whether it's spend, supply chain, hiring, analytics, and even beyond cross-suite. And of course, moving from this first step, you will also be able to extend and build your own. In our low-code build tool, you can design your own agents. Let's say I need to design a negotiation agent. I just simply pick the role, define the role, assign relevant business processes I want to work with. Or I can ground it in my business data through our business data cloud, standardized data products, or through our partnership with Databricks. I can put in any kind of data in our data mesh and ground it this way, and keeping the business semantics inside. And as well use the different skills that's available, other agents that need to collaborate with, and test and deploy. And lastly, as I move forward, most of you will probably have 4 or 5 agents in the future. But this will quickly scale to more than 100 agents as we fold AI upon itself, as we have AI generating AI agents on the fly. How do we orchestrate for that future? I don't believe that this is a future where everyone should be building their own thing, just focus on technology. We need to uphold the constitutions of the enterprise. The process level, the process languages, how we get things done must be deterministic. It cannot be probabilistic in my view. We must ground it in the business data, the authorizations, and the governance. So that when we move away and we decentralize action to the agentic niche, whether it's an AI agent that partners are building, our collaborators and other partners in the field, or whether it's from force.com, These, just like an air traffic controller, must be orchestrated. They must uphold these laws. But we can ground them. And by delivering dual control tower, it is our vision that we want to help our customers scale and orchestrate the agentic enterprise responsibly. And with that, I hope that you have a little bit of appetite for more. If not, then maybe ask yourself some of the core questions for how you accelerate and build your own organizational flywheel for success. Are you truly seeing it as a strategic move or merely a technological risk? How are you redesigning your processes as a bolt-on, as part of a digital core? Are you rethinking decision processes with AI at the very heart of it? Are you prioritizing for business? And by the way, here, you're more than welcome to visit our booth right outside, on the right-hand side there, for free chocolate, or maybe a talk about how you can be business value driven and use our free tools of all the AI use cases we've identified, as well as the out-of-the-box business use cases you can customize for your own business. And recognizing the fact that this, of course, will exponentially evolve as compounding effects. Every quarter this doubles. The more we wait, the further we get behind. As Europeans, it is our duty to make our enterprise, our countries, and us as individuals to get engaged on this. And I hope that you will follow us on this journey to build responsible AI and scale it together for the agentic enterprise. Thank you so much for the time.
Thanks so much to Jesper. There's so much to think about. So our next conversation, we're going to be lifting the hood onto one of the world's best known brands. This session is called